Hi everybody, I thought today, just doing a little bit of baking, I'd do an orange and raisin loaf. This is from the Biro book again, and it's quite simple. I'm just going to show you everything that we need and then I'll get preparing. We need self-raising flour. In America I think you would have to add something to it, but we are actually going to add bicarbonate of soda as well. So 8 ounces of Biro self-raising flour, a 2.5ml or half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. We need lard. Now this is not something I often use, I buy this just for making Yorkshire puddings, but we need some lard. We need margarine. You can use best butter if you want, but to be truthful you don't need to. We need caster sugar, which is in there. We need 1 orange, and we want the juice and the grated rind. And we need raisins, and we also need some milk. The equipment that you're going to need is a pair of scales, a wooden spoon, a whisk, a small grater to grate the orange, and a juicer. You'll need a measuring cup because we make the juice up to a certain amount with milk. And you need a mixing bowl. You also need a 2-pound loaf tin, which you just need to sort of grease and align it a little bit. My oven's on preheat gas mark 3, which is 160 centigrade, 325 Fahrenheit. I'm just going to get all this measured out, and then I'll show you exactly how we're going to carry on. As you can see, I've got all my ingredients. I've got my flour. The recipe will be linked down below, the ingredients will be. I've got my sugar, bicarbonate of soda, I've got my raisins, and I've got margarine and lard in there. I've got the zest of my orange, and you can see that I have hardly gone down to the white bit. You just need the outside bit because that's the bit with all the tasting and the oils and everything. And I've got my juice in there ready to measure my milk into. So the recipe says to get your flour and put your half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda in. I think this is baking soda in America. So half a teaspoon, and that goes in. I'll give that a little whisk. This is a rubbed in method, it's not a creaming method. One thing you've got to realise about a lot of the Biro recipes, and mine's a very old Biro book, is a lot of them are from wartime, when things were rationed. Probably wouldn't have had an orange, but they might have used a carrot, which is where carrot cake comes from. So they're long cut, they're rubbed in methods because there wasn't a lot of margarine. There's only an ounce of margarine and an ounce of lard in this. All the raisin comes from this, the self-raising flour and the bicarbonate of soda. That's obviously to lift it. There's no egg to help it lift. So we've got the flour and the bicarbonate of soda. Our ounce of margarine goes in and our ounce of lard. And this just gets rubbed in. If you looked at my last recipe, which was shortbread, it was exactly the same. That's all amalgamated in now, and it tells us to add the sugar. So here's my 4 ounces of sugar. It says caster sugar. I've only got granulated sugar, so that's what I'm using. Don't think it really makes that much difference, but if you've got granulated sugar, then use that, and just whisk that in to your mixture. Get it well mixed. The next part is mixing the sugar and the orange rind and the raisins. So my orange rind is going in. Hope you can see alright. And I'm just going to give that a whisk as well, because I want that to get well amalgamated. And then my 6 ounces of raisins. I love raisins. I don't like currants, but I really do like raisins. And if I get a recipe that says currants, it's either sultanas or raisins that go in. It's not helping. So I'm just going to mix these in. Break them up if they're a bit, like mine are a bit stuck together. And it's really, it's up to you, but I like to buy a decent kind of raisins. The cheap ones tend to be a little bit woody. But if you can do something like this, it's worth, you know, rather than using butter, use the margarine, but pay that little bit more for the raisins or sultanas. You can use sultanas in this, it wouldn't make any difference. Right, the next thing it says to do is, I've never made this cake before, so I'm learning with you. Make the juice of the orange up to 150 ml, which is 1/4 of a pint. So, this is the juice out of my orange, which I actually got just over 100 ml. With the orange, what I did was I got the zest off, and then I popped it in the microwave for about 15 seconds, no longer than that, and it actually makes it a lot more juicier, or easier for the juice to come out. And that's just over 150 ml, so we'll hold some back. The strength of that orange is really strong. It smells gorgeous. I've got to add to the dry ingredients and mix well. I'm going to use my wooden spoon on this. So I'm going to put nearly all of it in and see what it's like, because it's a little bit over. Again, it's not lots of mixing, there's no cream in. We just need it to be a nice cake mixture. And we're going to cook this for quite a long time. Yeah, it needs more than that. We're going to cook it for quite a long time. It's actually going to be in the oven for about 1 hour and a quarter, which is a long time for a cake. But if you think about it, in the wartime, a lot of people didn't have gas cookers or electric cookers. They had a fireplace with an oven at the side, and they would just pop it in there, and while they were cooking, actually on the range itself, they would be cooking this at the same time. So that's why it's a long cooking one. I presume, that's what I'm presuming. Now that's a nice cake mixture. I have got a little bit left, but as I say, it was a little bit over. I'm just going to try and get that little bit of orange juice that's on the top, because it looks quite curdly. And this then needs to go, mix the mixture, place the mixture in a prepared tin and to bake for 1 1/4 hours. So this is going in my tin, prepared, greased, and I've greased the top of the paper as well, as you can see. And the reason I took it up the sides, the ends, is because that just lets it easier to come out. Usually, you know it's cooked when it starts pulling away from the sides. So I'm going to put this in here. I actually bought this tin new, and it looked a bit big, but it is a £2 loaf tin, so I'm hoping it does rise a bit. Like I said, I've never cooked this before, or baked it before. So just get all your mixture. I don't know about you, but I can't stand to watch cooks that leave half of the mixture in the dish. It drives me insane, because why do you go to all that work and then leave it? I know maybe when they're filming they do it for speed, but no. You want this mixture, you want all of it. But maybe that's just me. So that's it, and just using my spatula, I'm just going to press it into the corners. and all the time making sure that my battery's not going to run out, which would be typical of me, to get halfway through a recipe and the battery runs out. Try and get it straight as you can. You don't really want a lopsided loaf. I don't particularly have a straight eye. And I'm just going to, my hands are clean, I assure you. Just going to pop that bit in there in that corner. So, gas mark 3, 160 centigrade, 325 Fahrenheit, and we're going to bake this in the middle of the oven for 1 hour and a quarter. When that's done, I'm going to put it on a wire rack and I'm going to come back to you. Hi everybody, I'm back. This is my finished cake. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's not very thick, but I don't think that's the fault of the recipe. I think that's the fault of me. I ordered a £2 fruit loaf tin, which this is what I got from Asda. I think it was about £2 or £3, and I actually think this is a £2.5 to £3, and it's probably better for bread. So I probably should have used this one, which I think is a £2 one, or just less, and it would have been a little bit deeper and sort of more healthier looking that, but I'm quite happy with it. I test it with this. I usually keep this, it's just a skewer from the barbecue, and I just test it before I make sure that it's cooked by putting it in. If it comes out clean, it's cooked. So I'm just going to cut it now. Use a serrated knife like you would for new bread, and it is totally cold. It's been on a wire rack. The corners come off there a little bit. It's quite dark. Yeah, it's the raisins are sort of like all the way through. It feels really moist inside. I'll pop that onto a plate. It took about 1 hour to cook. It's quite crumbly, but it's really moist. It's crumbly on the edges, but it's really moist. I'm just going to taste that bit. It's really nice. It would be nice with some butter on, especially when it's totally cold. I quite like it. Taste the orange. The raisins are moist. They're not chewy. It's really nice. Well worth a try. I hope you do try it. If you do, let me know. Send me a picture. You can follow me on Facebook and you can put it on there. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Hope you would be too. Right, thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you like the video. Comment and please subscribe. Bye for now.